Something is stirring in the United Kingdom. A wave of discontent, once silent, is now beginning to manifest openly on motorways, in towns, and across communities. This is not a grievance directed at the government, but rather a direct appeal to the monarch himself. A demand, a warning, a plea for intervention, raising one of the most delicate and consequential questions of our time. The pressing issue is whether King Charles will finally decide to step in, or whether he will turn away at the very moment when his people most urgently call for his support. Before we continue, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Social tension is spreading throughout the country. Increasing numbers of citizens are voicing their frustration, urging the king to take action where Parliament refuses, to dissolve the chamber and call a general election. A striking example of this sentiment appeared recently on the M53 motorway, where a large banner declared, "Charles, do your duty. Sack these traitors." This was not just graffiti, but a clear message, a cry from ordinary people who feel abandoned, betrayed and silenced by a political class they see as out of touch with reality. The reason why so many are now turning their eyes to the crown lies in the very history of the monarchy itself. For centuries, the sovereign has been regarded as the ultimate safeguard when politicians lose contact with the people. Although these powers are rarely exercised today, the monarch still retains certain constitutional reserve powers, including the authority to dissolve Parliament. While such an action would undoubtedly trigger a constitutional crisis, many Britons argue that the crisis is already underway, and that it has been brought about not by the king, but by the current government. Labour's handling of key issues has created a widespread sense of abandonment. Rising levels of illegal immigration, soaring living costs, and a growing perception that national identity is being eroded have left many citizens feeling their voices carry no weight. In their eyes, Parliament is filled with representatives more concerned with global interests than with those of the electorate. Against this backdrop, the inevitable question arises, where is King Charles, and why does he remain silent? Discontent deepens amid a widespread belief that the monarch is too focused on presenting himself as modern, bending to political correctness, environmental lobbies, and international institutions, while his subjects beg him to stand against a discredited Parliament. For many, the central role of a king should be to defend the nation in its most critical hours. The central issue is whether Parliament should be dissolved and new elections forced. Critics warn that such a step would break with modern convention, opening the door to instability and constitutional turmoil. Yet growing numbers ask whether instability is not already entrenched in the country. If Parliament fails in its duty, they argue, it is the Crown's responsibility to restore order by returning sovereignty to the people. Supporters of this view insist that if the monarch were to act, he would command massive popular backing. Yes, it would provoke outrage among the political elite and create turmoil in Westminster, but it could prove to be the defining moment of Charles III's reign, a decision that secures his legacy as a king who put his nation first. Conversely, he risks being remembered as weak, indecisive, and unable to answer the call of his people at a decisive moment. The message is unmistakable. Britain stands at a critical crossroads. The public is demanding a general election, and the sovereign still holds, at least in theory, the power to make it happen. The real question is not whether he can, but whether he will. Because if King Charles continues to stand aside, his reign will be defined not by duty and strength, but by inaction and a betrayal of the trust of his people. Meanwhile, the political debate continues to intensify. Shadow Secretary Chris Philp launched a strong attack on the Labour Party, accusing it of deepening a national crisis. In recent remarks, he argued that the policies pursued by Prime Minister Keir Starmer have endangered the safety of women and girls across the country, particularly following the cancellation of the Rwanda plan, a decision he described as a monumental mistake. Philp stressed that this policy would have allowed illegal migrants to be processed and resettled in Rwanda, but instead it was replaced with the Border Security Command, which he considers ineffective. The Conservative figure maintained that the current border strategy is inadequate and dangerous, pointing to criminal cases involving migrants housed in asylum hotels as clear evidence of a serious public safety issue. He went on to accuse the government of prioritizing the rights of illegal migrants over the security of British citizens. For her part, the Home Secretary is expected to argue in Parliament that Labour's proposals aim to lay firmer foundations for closing down the costly asylum hotels and tackling the criminal trafficking networks operating in the English Channel. Among the announced measures are reforms to the family reunification system, introducing stricter financial requirements and higher English language standards, as well as new powers to pursue the gangs profiting from illegal migration. Even so, critics insist that these reforms will not serve as a genuine deterrent in what is already considered a large-scale national crisis. With public pressure mounting and the political debate becoming increasingly polarized, Britain faces a climate of uncertainty in which decisions taken by both the king and the government could shape the course of an entire generation. The question now is unavoidable. Do you believe King Charles should intervene and dissolve Parliament to call a general election, or should the monarchy remain on the sidelines of this political crisis? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like to stay up to date with the latest developments in British politics, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.